it's me. I'm back. I'm doing this. Oh man, it's the second day in a row for me. This is crazy. And I have like 3 videos that I've made. Wait a second, let me pull this guy down. That's a huge forehead right there. And I don't have my contacts in, so I can't see myself. Everything's fuzzy. Okay, so I've got 3 videos made, and I'm too worried to make them public because I'm certain that I've said something or something about it must be bad, or I don't know how to say this. I'm just worried. I'm worried. Let's see. Gonna stick this guy right here. Let's see if I can even goes above the thing a little bit. Oh, look at that. Hey there, that's Henry. Okay, I've made. Is that gonna? I feel like it's gonna fall. Let me go like that. Okay. Oh, I ruined it. See, that's what I worry about. I'm gonna ruin things by attempting to fix them. Okay, back to where it was. Let's see. But anyways, yes, I have these videos made. I have like 3 videos made and uploaded to YouTube, but I'm afraid of releasing them because I'm certain that I overshared, which I do. I think it's gonna fall now. So I'm still figuring everything out. Still figuring the placement. How close should I be? How close should I be? So I don't want to be. I want to put myself into the way. And it's not like, I mean, even if I had like a few, if for some reason I got a certain amount of viewers or whatever, or subscribers, if I got freaked out, I could always just delete the channel. I don't think people can hunt me down just yet. I tell myself, don't worry about it, bro. Yeah, maybe you say too much. Yeah, maybe you overshare. Yeah, maybe people even piece together parts of the equation that you're not even saying out loud, but it doesn't matter because you're not a bad guy. You're not a bad person. You deserve love and respect. And everything. I just received a shirt in the mail yesterday. And once again, I don't have it to hold it up for you. It's just one of my designs that I make and put on shirts that only I will ever purchase because they're weird designs and oh, hold on, you know what? Let me go get it. Okay, I'm back, and here's the shirt. So I shouldn't say I'm the only one that would ever purchase it because it's been purchased once on TeePublic. So someone found this somehow, but they found a version without the text. So it's gonna be hard for me to show this because so this is we are scientists, and so there's the main design. And I added the text for myself, and I need to upload this version to TeePublic. It's a little bit darker than I thought it would be, and there's a black part. Hold on. Right above the E, I think it is. Like this right here is these are eyes, and you can see it a lot more clearly on in the actual picture. So there's certain things like that. For the longest time, I never bought anything that I did because a lot of what I did I wasn't even into. I was just spend, and TeePublic and Redbubble, both like the shipping just was kind of like a lot. I'm way too thrifty. I do not want to pay for these large shipping fees, but I have an Amazon merch account, and I can lower the price for myself, and then there's free shipping on Amazon merch. And right now, because without going too far into it, you only have a certain amount of slots when you first get on, and my slots have been increased to 100, so I have 100 designs, but I still feel like the majority of my stuff that I would actually wear, that I actually am interested in, the majority of it is not something that that would sell for the average Amazon merch, Amazon shopper or whatever. There's something that goes around the T in the scientists. I wasn't sure if that would be blocked out, if people would be, when I saw it on the shirt, when I designed it, I thought, okay, well this is like a cute, like, little flourish of the design, like, oh, it's coming out and going around, wrapping around. When I saw it on the shirt, I thought a little bit more like, I don't know if people are going to be able to read that there's the T there. So, are they going to think it's like scientists? I don't know. But I've been reassured that no, it's readable, legible. So I'm subscribed to Passive Income subreddit, and things like this both give me hope, but also the amount of things that I've done to try to make $100 a month and made like $3 a month, or if that. So the title of the post is Pretty Random Way I Make $200 a month completely passively. And the thing is, so this guy says he's a software engineer. It's like, rich people keep getting richer. You're a software engineer. I bet you're making alright money if you're employed. And you are still making, and you still manage to just accidentally come into an idea. And that's like how it does. I don't know. The more that if you're not making a lot, excuse my voice there. If you're not making a lot, you have like stress and stuff. There are people that are stressed out in ways that I can't even imagine. And I get stressed, and then I come out of it. I come out of the stress, and I come out of the like woe is me cycle. And I look around and I go, like, I can't identify with like how much I should be thankful for, like, and grateful for. But when I come out of that stress cycle, I logically, and I recognize that, like, no, I'm in a pretty good situation compared to, I mean, it's not the situation that I'd want, but it's the situation that, I mean, like, I'm doing okay. And anyways, to get back to this, I'm a software engineer, and I made a YouTube video last year where the title of the video updates to tell you how many views, comments, and likes the video has. I can't link the video. I tried posting 2 weeks ago, but my post was never shown, so I'll link it in the comments. I essentially have a server that runs in the background that uses the YouTube API to update the title. It's very little code. The video has over 1 million views. The Sounds interesting. I'm going to build one over the weekend. And the opening says props worth noting that this video sat around 20k views for months and months. And then one day YouTube just decided to recommend it to people. 20k views is a lot for, I don't know what else this guy has in his YouTube channel. But 20k views is a good amount of views. You know, I don't know if any of my videos on this channel has gotten even 1,000 views. So 20k is a lot. There might be one or two. Yeah, man, I can't get up. Like I've done like coding things that, but like follow the steps type of coding, like do this, then do this, then do this, and even then I end up encountering some type of problem, and I'm not smart enough, or I have to like go digging to try to figure out the answer, and I'm always like very aware of how elementary of what I'm doing is, and yet it's still like very, very, very complicated if you don't know what you're doing. On subreddit Asperger's, why do so many people online, particularly on TikTok and Twitter, use the word neurodivergent instead of whatever condition they're actually talking about? Why the euphemism? A lot of people online say that they are neurodivergent, but I don't understand why the euphemism is necessary. I highly doubt any of these people have Down syndrome, and if they have something like autism, dyscalculia. I don't say that word out loud, and I can't even remember what that means off the top of my head. Dyscalculia, dyslexia, why not say that instead of the broad and mostly useless label of neurodivergent? By mostly useless, I mean the term doesn't really help anyone necessarily, because different neurodivergent conditions require different accommodations. Therefore, the term has no actual utility. I think now neurodivergent, and I try to get away from it, but they keep pulling me back in. Like, I don't know how that neurodivergent is such a broad term. I think it becomes easier to use to say neurodivergent, especially if you have a lot of different issues, which I do. You know, I've got autism and ADHD, and you've got the ADHD kind of mixed label, but I definitely know I also have, I have depression issues from my struggles with autism and everything, and I think I don't really have anxiety issues the way that I used to, but I do have, I'm sure, OCPD, and after my heart issue for the last month, my mom is basically like, you're getting, every time I go looking for a word in my mind when I'm doing these videos, I can't think of it, but you know, when you think you're sicker than you are, when you're always like looking for the next sickness. So, you know, I just read this. I think this is right. Or I agree with it. I mean, not sure why others do it, but I used to do it on dating apps to give a general hint of my condition without going into details. I don't know if you should be giving that hint on dating apps. That seems like a possible, I don't know. Maybe it works. Maybe that's what you should do. A lot of experiences and general problems are shared between a lot of ND things anyways. Yeah, that too. And this is a good answer. as a substitute for the word autism, and they use the word neurotypical as a substitute for the word holistic, and I keep struggling with that, where I too will, and I have to like stop myself, and I even do it when I'm making a video and talking about things, where I start to go autistic and neurotypical, and then I have to really quickly go, oh, I'm holistic, and so this person says it's not a euphemism, it is used to refer to a family of neurotypes. It avoids needing to list them out every time you want to discuss attributes they share in common. And then the next person says it's not technically a euphemism, but many people use it as one. I've noticed people, even practitioners, saying neurodivergent when they mean autistic, as well as people assuming I'm using it that way when I'm actually referring to the neurodivergence umbrella. This waters down the conversation and creates confusion when it shouldn't exist. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And that's why I'm mostly trying to stay away from the neurodivergent, neurotypical dichotomy or whatever, because it's just it's too large, and too many people are getting it mixed up with other things. And then on top of that, there's a constant like questioning of what do you even mean when you're saying neurodivergent. Like how much, someone just wrote that they have, ADHD, autism, generalized anxiety. Someone says anxiety isn't a form of neurodivergence. Someone else says generalized anxiety disorder absolutely is. And there's this constant, like, does everything fall under the label of neurodivergent? Does everything, at what point does everyone become neurodivergent? And I mean, in a way you could say maybe that's the goal, that we recognize the divergence of ways of existing or something and embrace everything. I don't think that's the goal. But it I don't know, I get the idea of creating the label neurodivergent so that we don't have to walk around and talk about mental illness like it's a deficit. I mean, it is a deficit, but where it's a struggle. And so you wanna, I think the idea, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the idea is that we want to say positive things, and we want to say, listen, we got struggles, but everyone's got struggles, and we just have these neurodivergent struggles. We don't exist in a neurotypical way, and there are many people who have overlapping struggles due to their mental health struggles is that if it can be overcome, is it really neurodivergence? You can't overcome autism or ADHD. And this is the weird thing. When we invent labels and concepts, all of a sudden you get just 1,000 people, way more, trying to define it, trying to gatekeep it, making it a big thing, or making it, I don't know, you end up getting to a point where I keep getting to with a lot of this stuff, where I think, is any of this helpful after a while? And maybe that's just culture in general, because sometimes I feel that way about the changing of language. You know, the word cool will come about, the word lit, then people stop saying lit and they start saying something else. They start saying whatever they say, and there's always going to be the next thing. And eventually, if you see that pattern enough times, like, I'm at the point old enough where I'm like, any new word, I don't feel the need or the desire to keep up with it, because I realize that it's just going to be replaced in 10 years anyways, or less. 5 years, and you'll say it in 5 years or 10 years, and people will be like, why are you still saying lit? Why are you still doing that? Why are you saying bra instead of bro? Why are you saying dude instead of bro? Why are you saying, you know what, hip cat? Nobody says that anymore. Okay, so this person writes, think of it more as an umbrella term for ADHD, autism, dyslexia, Tourette's, depression, etc. I use it when I don't. See, we just don't say mental illness anymore. We just say neurodivergent. I use it when I don't want to disclose my official diagnosis. Not everyone is a safe person. The thing is that if I said to a random person that I was neurodivergent, they'd go, like, if they were curious, they'd either go, oh, okay, I don't know what that means, or they would say, okay, so, like, what specifically what's your issue, or what's your neurodivergent specifically? So I don't know, I've always tried to find these tips and tricks for, like, talking to people, and you know, you'll get tips and tricks that are like that. Oh, well, say this so you don't have to disclose blah blah blah. But whenever I've tried that, people just go, like, just tell me what you're talking about, and then I'll go, well, shit, but I don't want to, you know. And then you can either say that I don't want to, but then it makes it weird, and then you're both standing there being weird with each other, and you're the problem. You're the reason it's weird, because you're not just saying what you mean and meaning what you're saying. That's what I've found whenever I've attempted anything near obfuscating or keeping a distance from people. Like, they don't understand, or they don't care that I'm trying to keep my distance, and I'm trying to keep some things close to my chest, so to speak. I feel like this. Okay, I'll read this and then I'll end. One good reason is that it decenters the specific condition in order to talk about the thing the content is focused on. I knew this was going to be heady. If you want to talk about your struggles at the grocery store, and your point is how loud the music is, when you're trying to think about other things, you might say, my autistic brain really struggles with ... or my neurodivergent brain really struggles with ... because this could be, like nearly all autistic traits, something that many folks can identify with. The former will often elicit response that nitpick over using autism in the context, against it. I just would never. Maybe this is my way. Maybe this is me letting myself struggle. I just would never. I would never say to somebody. Maybe I also am existing in a place where people are less like. I mean, if I was living in Seattle or some like a city that was way more accepting or something, I would be like, maybe I could say, oh, I'm struggling right now. It's really loud in here. I've got a neurodivergence, and they'd be like, oh, they kind of would speak that language. Where I'm at, like, no one's speaking that language. No one is speaking that language, so I would never say something like that. So the former will often elicit responses that nitpick over using autism in that context, or zeroing in on, is this actually a valid symptom of autism, or is this TikTok performing? Again, you can't get away from it saying neurodivergent. What? Of course, that could be coming from the same people who judge people. See previous comments for using autism without certified, notarized, fully binding legal documents sealed with signatures from white men wearing doctors' costumes for a profit. Anyhow, the latter is at least a little more likely to generate like-minded responses from people saying, oh yeah, the noise is so bad, or I do wish they do something about that. See, what this tells me is that a lot of people are looking for ways of not being harmed, but I gotta say, the people that will harm you because you're different. Not because you're autistic, but because you're different. And there's no way around it except to either A, mask, or B, not be around those people and stay away from them. But attempting to like figure out what's the best word that I can use? How can I use a word that will elicit nicer responses? Like the checkout lady, and I know this is just a random like example or whatever or thought, but the checkout lady isn't going to stand their question. Like, they're not going to be like, oh, autism, you can't use that word, but neurodivergent, that makes sense to me. Like, the people that don't know, and they don't care, and they just want you to shut up, fit in, and stop bothering them. Like, that's all they care about. And so, like, for me, the only thing that I can really do, or that for anyone, I think, you either have to accept that, or I don't know what, because you're never, if that's the